Mm-hmm.
Where's the
We're live, but I can't load.
camera seems a little unfocused.
Causes you to focus. My camera bugging out for real?
Well, maybe eventually we can.
It looks fine on here.
Okay.
Howdy, everyone.
It does look good on there.
Yeah, from what I can tell. Oh man.
Dom.
What's up, Dom? How's it going, man? And did we enjoy that?
Oh, heck yeah.
Absolutely. Frank says hi.
Hello, Frank.
Yeah.
Two of our favorite characters, Dom Toretto and Frank Castle.
Yeah, we actually.
Welcome to the chat.
Wait, did we do a?
It was Thanos versus Dom and Frank versus John Wick. But
Yeah.
we have done videos about both of your namesakes.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yes. Did we enjoy that? I don't know. Did we enjoy that?
Heck yeah.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, I'm assuming everybody has seen it.
Yeah. Spoilers if you haven't seen it yet.
Please go watch it.
Yeah.
I do not want to be the guy to spoil it for somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you what, man. When Captain Rex, he's my favorite. He's my favorite Star Wars character. When we didn't get to see his face, we heard his voice.
Yeah.
That was definitely Tamara Morrison. And it gave me chills instantly. I just love Captain Rex, and then everything else surrounding the Clone Wars was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was. It's just I think I can only use one word to describe it, and it was an experience.
Yeah.
It
That's
seeing this in
theaters. Yeah.
would have been so good. It would have been crazy.
Yeah, we looked it up, but there's no showings around us, so
yeah,
it's kind of a dagger. But
Dom Jones says Dom Toretto in a Purgle. Dude, bro, that might be the plot. That might actually be the plot of the next Fast and Furious, dude. Don't you put it past him at this point, man.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. So I guess let's just open up with we already talked about what you thought about it, but what was I guess in your favorite part too, but the episode she starts off in the world between worlds, and kind of like we predicted last week. This is kind of a one last lesson type thing.
Yeah, he literally said something very similar to what we were talking about in the last live stream. So that was cool to see, and it was really cool to see. I didn't know they'd go to the Siege of Mandalore. That was very interesting.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't remember this battle.
That was crazy.
It was just so crazy, man. Like, I don't know if I can put in. I almost teared up a little bit, and I got chills just because my childhood was in like live action, and I don't know how to like reconcile that.
Yeah, it was crazy to see, man. And anytime they did those flashbacks, it was interesting. They didn't show any of the little portal things.
No, not at all.
Anakin just cut the floor and they fell down there, which was interesting. I mean, I assume we'll go back to the world between worlds at some point. So
yeah, hopefully. He said, Dom Jones said, the transitions between good and bad Anakin was pulled off really well. Oh. Wait, yeah, dude, there was one moment where you literally were like, dadgum! Like,
I jumped out of the seat, man. The first one when he was walking away from Ahsoka after he said, dropped a bar as he always does. And then he put his lightsaber out, and it was Anakin, Darth Vader, then Anakin. I jumped out of the seat.
That moment, we're kind of, like, if y'all have any questions or things that y'all want us to talk about, just let us know in the comments, but that moment between him and Ahsoka in that battle, where with young Ahsoka, where she's like so sad that all these people all these clones have died, and she's like, they died because of my orders, which reminds me of the episode of Clone Wars whenever she leads the fighter squadron and all of them die, and it kind of was like a parallel with that, but he's just over there like dropping absolute heat. And he's like, this is just part of it, like, and the whole thing was like she was trained to be a soldier. And by the end of that, she learns that that's not all that she is.
Yeah. And to your point, when that first soldier is down and Ahsoka walks over to him and he puts his hand on hers, that got me in the feel. I almost started tearing up then because that's one of our favorite things about Clone Wars is like the humanity of the clones.
Yeah.
And seeing that, I mean, Dave Filoni just always delivers with that stuff.
Yeah, it reminded me of Captain Vaughn, whenever she grabs his hand, he's like, I'm sorry, Commander. Like, I just think they pulled off everything so well in this episode. It was, people are saying it's more on the slower side. Some people, I'm okay with that, and I think most people are okay with that because this really, we see the Ahsoka transition from being gray to being like
Yeah,
now
that's
she's
kind of
Ahsoka
the main
the White.
theme now.
Yeah,
So that we didn't really touch on that much in our last live, but I mean that's kind of a big thing.
yeah,
And I started saying that before it actually happened in the episode. I was like, it feels like she's going because Dave Filoni has talked about Ahsoka the Gray versus Ahsoka the White. So
yeah.
I just had that feeling as soon as the episode started. Kind of the Gandalf, parallel.
Yeah. So, I mean, I mean, that was kind of the coolest part about it was what we called, like, if you watched our live stream last week or our video, if you made it that far into the video, that's what we talked about was this idea that this is kind of going to be a one last lesson type thing. We got to see them fight, which was like, what was your reading on that actually?
One last lesson.
Yeah,
that's what that reminded me of.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fight. I'm a little confused. I can't wait for this to be broken down by a lot of people,
By
including
our friends over at New Rock Stars.
Yeah. So it was interesting how he went back from Darth Vader and Anakin back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly. Our friend Star Wars Theory, another friend of the channel, said
Yeah.
he's not sure if that really was Anakin, maybe a figment of the Force.
Yeah.
Manifesting in the world between worlds. So it's gonna be. I don't know. The fights were sick.
Mm-hmm.
To make a long point short.
Yeah. I just I'm kind of at a loss for words, man. Like in a sense, it's just it's surreal, dude. It really is surreal.
Yeah.
But like I want to say like, the transition from Ahsoka the Grey to Ahsoka the White, like a lot of people have been saying that Rosario Dawson has been so one-dimensional and as Ahsoka has been so one-dimensional and kind of almost lame in a way and like betraying the character that we saw in Clone Wars. And now we kind of get to see, like Star Wars Theory was pointing out, like we get to see why.
Yeah, I mean, but Ahsoka the White was only in this episode like 20 minutes, and it's a testament to how she was written this season in this show and how Rosario Dawson has acted.
Yeah.
Because you can tell the difference instantly. Like, that's the Ahsoka we know from Clone Wars.
Yeah, and I love how the tones immediately, as soon as she wakes up, she's wearing, she comes out of the ship wearing a white kind of robe, but she's not fully there yet. And then by the time that they're enacting their plan, she's in full white robes with white gloves, everything. So that transition I thought was so good, and obviously we'll get to see Rosario's a little bit more of her range, because right now she's only had to be kind of like a dark and moody character, which we've seen all the way back from The Mandalorian season 2. Whenever she first appeared, she was kind of like broody and dark, and it took one more encounter with her master, one last lesson, understanding that she's not responsible for what happened to him.
Yeah.
Like that almost was like a burden lifted off of her shoulders.
A big thing to me, what I got from this episode is like she blamed really the fall of Anakin, and then consequently, the galaxy on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she didn't have time to think about it while she was fighting for her life. And then when the rebels win, that's when she really becomes gray.
Yeah.
Because she's like, we've made it, and Anakin doesn't get to see this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think she really became, like, at the pinnacle. They say it's lonely at the top or whatever.
Yeah.
They finally got the goal they were trying to reach, and she's like, my big brother isn't here with me to see this. And she really, that guilt, I feel like, came crashing in all at once at that point.
Dude, that's such a good point. That makes a lot of sense with her character, because you don't really see it much in Rebels. Obviously, she still can't believe that it's actually happened, but now that she's finally come to terms that this is what he became, now she's like, well, I had to have played, since I was so close to him, surely I played some part in this.
Yeah,
and
or could have stopped it.
And really, in a way, in a way, she does play a part of it, but it's not because of her. It's because of the way that the council treated her whenever she was kicked out.
Yeah.
And I just thought everything about this episode paid so much good homage to what we saw in Clone Wars, and everything that we've seen Ahsoka in. it paid tribute to that and built her character and made her something new, which I think is a really good thing. Also, I think something else we can talk about is the music, dude. It was cooking.
It was cooking.
Kevin Kiner is the guy who did all of the Clone Wars, and bruh, chef's kiss.
It's such a good move to bring it back. I mean, because he knows the content and he knows what themes to use wearing stuff like that. So yeah. I mean, everything about this episode was just magnificent.
Yeah, and we'll think of more stuff. I'm just still kind of at a loss for words. So if y'all have anything that y'all want us to talk about specifically or any questions you want to ask, don't hesitate to shoot those our way. I guess we could talk about where. So obviously we kind of know where we're gonna go from here. So what do you think goes on?
Yeah. So one of our ideas was that she would. A lot of the theories were about it being burned onto her hand.
Yeah.
But we did float the idea that they're just gonna go the old-fashioned way, take the purgils. So
yeah.
And look, that's what they're doing. So I mean.
Yeah, we got a comment from Dom. He says, dudes, it's gone 3 a.m. here in Wales, so not being rude, but good night, and thanks for some valid comments straight after the show. May the force be with you. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah. It's always good to have you with us. Good night to you in the UK, and respect for staying up that late.
Yeah, appreciate you.
That is some mad respect. Sully says, I love how Filoni didn't set anything in stone. I believe Anakin is a Mortis god now, but it was never explained.
That's a good point. I mean, I could see that.
Okay, so proof, Sully. Give me some. I mean, like, why do you believe that? I guess would be my question. So we know this guy, by the way. So
yeah, he's been on the channel.
Yeah.
Good night, Dom. May the force be with you.
Yes.
So appreciate you.
So Sully thinks he's or Anakin is a Mortis god now, which we kind of do. I feel like we can kind of see. It looks like he kind of has control over that realm to an extent.
Yeah, because if he was one person, if he was like just Anakin, he wouldn't be able to go back with the Sith eyes to Anakin to Darth Vader like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I was kind of getting that vibe too. I see what he's saying.
I can understand that one as well. I hope that's the. I mean, that would be a cool little thing. But that is the good part about it is it's open ended. Nobody's offended. Like we predicted that we would kind of see a one last lesson type thing, and we were like either it'll be one or the other. But I guess somehow Filoni found a way to make it both, and that's just how you know he's cooking, dude.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what Star Wars is. I mean.
According to the mural, the Mortis gods watch over the world between worlds. Yeah, that's
true. And then, at the end, when Ezra's leaving, the sun on the mural actually moves. So
yeah,
he's out there somewhere.
The father said the chosen one was to take his place.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
And it would make sense because we were all kind of like, whenever we watched that arc in Clone Wars, we were like, what the, like, why is this in here? And it was so creative and it was so different, and that's what made it so great. But like, at the same time, it felt very out of place. And
it makes sense if he is, like taking the father's place at this point, that they didn't introduce it in this show because Ahsoka's on her own path now. It's really about her. So, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
I would, the Avengers of the Mortis God Anakin. I would definitely watch that, dude. So back to our conversation about what do you think is going to be going on for this next episode? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, we didn't see anything with the crew in the Eye of Sion, so I think I feel like we're just gonna open up there.
Yeah.
And then kind of how this episode opened up with not with Ahsoka as a lot of us probably thought, and then it played the opening credits, and then we got to Ahsoka. I think that's how it'll be. We'll catch up with Shin.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with Balin and Sabine. So and then. I don't know, man. I guess it's going to be pretty quick because they're already just jumped into hyperspace. So
yeah, so that means we will probably pick up right with them exiting, I would assume. By the way, Sully says, regardless, it was nice seeing Anakin.
Oh, no doubt.
Dude, Anakin, we've thought about doing a series for a long time about our top 10 favorite characters.
Yeah, we need to do it.
Yeah, we need to do it. But Anakin's definitely in my top 3. So it was definitely nice to see him again. And I think Hayden did a fantastic job of portraying like a Clone Wars Anakin too. Not just his version, but the one that we see from Clone Wars as well. Which was really nice. But I think they come out of hyperspace to continue our last conversation. Do you think we see Thrawn or Ezra next episode?
Yeah, I think we will. I think it's time. I mean,
yeah,
it's like we talked about last time. We knew this episode was going to be about Ahsoka's journey,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to see the transition from Ahsoka the Grey to Ahsoka the White. So I think we've reached the point where it's Thrawn time.
Yeah, it is.
It's Thrawn and Ezra time.
It's definitely it's Elon Thrawn or what
Ethron Musk
Ethron.
I don't know.
Ethron Musk. Yeah, I'm hoping we get to see
Yo, Elon makes a cameo like Iron Man
man.
2, dude.
Dude, I actually almost just said Elon Musk, dude. That's crazy. I hope we get to see Thrawn in some capacity. I feel like it might be too early, but we've got 3 episodes left for them to kind of establish and wrap it up, which I feel like they've done so well, man. Like to have 3 episodes to wrap this up is so unlike anything we've seen
true.
in a show on Disney Plus, except for Andor, I think.
Yeah,
Andor's the only show that's ever really
was
like
12.
properly wrapped up. Yeah.
And so with the 8 run like this, it's impressive how quickly they've done the story, but also at the same time it doesn't feel blitzed. So
yeah, it doesn't feel like that at all, which I'm so glad about, dude. I couldn't be more happy. For those of you who just joined, let us know if you have any comments, things you want us to talk about. We've kind of been all over the place, so we're just going with the flow. We don't stream much, but we should probably come with an agenda, I think, maybe next time.
yeah, we're trying to do weekly streams now. So
Yeah, and let us know. Oh, by the way, since you just joined, for viewers, we would love to tell you about our top 10 character series. Yeah, would that be something y'all are interested in? Because I think that would kind of be because Anakin is one of my top characters. Not to spoil, but,
and Rex is one of mine, and we talked about earlier. The scene with Rex was just beautiful.
So Sully says this shows what Obi-Wan should have been, a good build-up without characters shoehorned in. I agree. Yeah. And not to Reva was okay. Nothing against her, but she kind of took over the show, and that was not what Kenobi needed.
Yeah, I mean, you got Baylan Skoll. I mean, a fan favorite instantly.
Yeah.
And if you look at his screen time, it's probably not much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his character just is that good. He doesn't have that much screen time, but he's great for the show.
He's utilized where he needs to be utilized, which is great. Like, I'm glad that he's been in. Like you said, he is an instant fan favorite, and his character has been written properly to the point where he's a true villain. Kind of,
but he's interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. He's not just like. And Reva kind of had a little bit of twist to her. The fact that she the whole point of trying to track down Obi-Wan was just so that she could get to Vader.
And it also hurt that show is only 6 episodes.
Yeah, and it also hurt that Filoni wasn't in charge of it. That's what mainly hurt. And Kenobi had its moments, but it definitely wasn't. It didn't feel as coherent as the show we're watching right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but that's been the biggest thing for us about Ahsoka, at least for me, is that it's felt so linear, and every episode builds into the next one so perfectly, leaves on a cliffhanger, or maybe it wraps up perfectly, but it leaves you expectant for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, and our friend Star Wars Theory was saying that he gave this episode a 9.5, and I'm probably in that range, if not a 10, because, and he said, he was hoping. I'm blanking.
Controller disconnected.
I've been doing that a lot today, dude. I was at the dentist earlier, and my mind just escaped.
Did you get some laughing gas in there or something? Man's still high off the laughing gas. What? Oh man, so
it'll come to me in a second.
Yeah, it'll come to us in a second. I'm kind of lost now, dude. I don't know where I'm at. Give us something to talk about, guys, please. Sully says but perfect timing, by the way. Put Anakin in anything and he gives it a 9 out of 10. LOL. Dude, that's triple facts, dude.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Dude.
Yeah,
I'll give it 10.
Dude, getting to see Hayden Christensen again was just it was perfect.
Yeah, especially in Cole Moore's uniform, dude.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that.
What'd you think about that, though? Like, it looked good, but it was also kind of clunky. Like,
it's a hard transition to make because we saw 7 seasons of Cole Moore's.
Yeah, and he was also rail thin in that show. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's animation, so I think it was the best they could do with that transition.
Yeah, so for people who haven't seen Clone Wars, I don't know if we have any people watching Ahsoka right now that haven't seen Clone Wars. What's your take on what should they maybe watch before? Sully says Captain Rex.
Perfect. And I will say that Captain Rex was perfect. As soon as he was on screen in like the background over there, I instantly got chills.
Dude, me and you both were like, oh my gosh. Like, dude, I just felt like I don't know what it felt like. This was like fan service. It was fan service, but it was utilized so well. That's a thing that's hard to do. and especially with the fact that wait, what?
I remember what Star Wars theory was saying.
Okay, yeah, here we're back now.
It left him wanting more Anakin, which he says is a good thing. Because we got Anakin for probably half the episode, and it left him wanting more. And I feel the same way. I want to see more of this. So that's how you know it was a good install to have Anakin in there.
Yeah,
is that we're left wanting so much more of him.
I agree. Yeah, like I feel like Hayden Christensen, especially in the prequels, was kind of like, I don't want to say gypped, but gypped at the same time.
Yeah, he's definitely overhated, but I feel like everyone loves him now. So
yeah, exactly. So I feel like he was kind of gypped back in the day. So I want to see him succeed now.
No, it's more than ever.
Yeah, dude, Star Wars Theory was saying this, and I couldn't agree more. Give us a live-action Clone Wars show with maybe some arcs that weren't made.
Son of Dathomir, dude. I have that comic around here somewhere.
I mean, the thing is like, how much of the Clone Wars did we actually see? I mean, there had to have been massive battles going on. Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of Jedi we probably never even saw. I mean, that's what tells the Jedi's for, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So, Sully says, one interesting part was Anakin not recognizing the Siege of Mandalore and being aware of her referencing his fall to Vader. That is true. That is a good point. The fact that he was like, he did kind of seem, I want to say, omniscient in that way.
Yeah, I mean, that would tie into the Mortis theory.
Yeah, but, well, I guess in a way, like, they both were in a lot.
Which, if he's dead, and which another theory was that, like, Force Ghost, or like when you die, Force Ghosts go to the world between worlds. Mm-hmm. So he would basically know everything at that point if that's where Force Ghosts go. But that may not be, it could be that or the Mortis things, I don't know.
I don't know, man, like... I feel like there's so many ways that you could go with this, and I wonder if we'll ever get it properly explained by Filoni. Maybe
we might. I mean, he explained the world between worlds afterwards. I mean, he might go on an interview somewhere and explain what's going on, or he might very well say like it's up to the viewer.
Yeah,
because he said
that's a classic Nolan move there,
which is cool. I mean, that we said that before. We like that about movies and stuff.
But yeah, I agree, and definitely good to see Hayden back as Anakin, dude.
The goat, dude.
Definitely good to see Rex in there. He
didn't
as well.
lose a step.
He said, "I think he left it open to not trap himself if people hated it." LOL. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everything in Star Wars these days is divisive or polarizing.
There's I don't think I've ever seen, because last week we were talking about like how could you as a Star Wars fan not like this. And yet I found people on Twitter who didn't like it. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like outside of the originals, ever since then there's been, polarized. Everything's been polarizing.
Yeah, but that is a good point. The fact that he probably gave himself an exit door just in case things.
And he's been saying that for a while. He's been saying it's not time travel, which.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want, but like.
It's not technically time travel because you have to go back through the one you came from.
Yeah.
But it's like, it is playing with time.
Yeah, you can definitely, like, in reality, Ezra definitely could have saved Kanan, and he did save Ahsoka, and it would have played with time, but the point is that you have control over where you're at, and that's kind of the thing. But
it was really kind of like what happened with Rocket. That's what that's reminding me of, because with Lila... And Lila was saying, like, you still got more to do. That's kind of what Anakin was there for. Yeah. Because he asked her, I think, 3 times in this, live or die. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, she's like, I want to live. Mm-hmm. And then she goes back and wakes up in the water. Yeah, actually, that's so interesting, though. The first time he asks her or tells her that this is one last lesson, and she's like, what is that then? And he's like, live or die. And she says, I'm not going to fight you. Like, notice how her mind was so immediately trained to go to, like, war. I'm not going to fight you. And that's what we see is that, like, she feels like she's been trained as a warrior since birth or since she, was trained by the Order. And, like, the whole time was her escaping that. So, and by the end, she's like, I want to live. I don't want to fight. I want to live. That's powerful. Yeah, I just realized that. Sully says, I bet the show ends with Ezra training Kanan's son. That would be goated on the stage. If that's the ending, if that's the ending, then we got to see a show with Ezra and Jason, on their Padawan adventures. Yeah, and that would be emotional too because Jason's dad Kanan trained Ezra, so that'd be emotional. It would. At the end of the day, that would probably be the best pairing because
Ezra could communicate some of that what
Yeah.
Jason never got to see because he, like you said, he is trained by Kanan. So
And I can see Filoni doing that. He always cooks with that type of thing.
yeah, using old masters to communicate new lessons, I guess.
Ooh.
That's what he's been doing, dude. We should have taken down some of the quotes that Anakin had, bro, because they were just bars.
Yeah, there's one Ahsoka said at the end too that I thought was sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was going anywhere is better than going nowhere.
Yeah,
that hit home with me.
And that was like such a classic Ahsoka, like the smile, the smirk, like it just felt like it felt like Clone Wars Ahsoka. Like it's good. Your wife said it's good to see that she's happy again, like because she's happy, and we hadn't seen that in a while.
But yeah, and that's kind of what we were talking about last live stream is that it's gonna really be a journey with Anakin, and I'm glad they went that route rather than like him immediately turning into the sun or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh dang.
Yeah, I think we predicted that spot on too, dude.
That's kind of what we envisioned, but it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it definitely did live up to the hype, and I feel like it was needed. Now that Ahsoka has her own Padawan, and I love how they even mentioned that in the thing that Ahsoka, and she's like, "Well, I have to train my Padawan to be a warrior." And Anakin's like, "You want a Padawan?" and she's like, "I don't know, maybe."
Yeah, he's like, teaching is not all it's cracked up.
Yeah, and she's like, "What do you mean by that?" And I was like, "Dude, that is so early season Clone Wars Ahsoka right there." She would definitely be like, "Oh, dang, that's a sly comment." They were going back and forth, and I felt like, oh, it was just so good, dude.
So many good moments.
Definitely, so many good moments, man.
We saw some 332nd troopers in there.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I wish we could have seen some Captain Vaughn. I wish we could have seen some Rex, dude. Some maybe like I know we got to see Rex, but like I wish we could have seen him take off the helmet and like you were saying, Tamara Morrison is like 70 by now.
He's fairly old in real life, and Rex during the Siege of Mandalore, not so old.
Yeah, he wasn't that old. I mean,
they could de-age him and give him the yellow hair.
I mean, that's what they did for Hayden, and it worked. I mean,
I'm glad it was his voice.
Yeah, Sully said, "My only wish was it gave a little more closure between Anakin and Ahsoka, like her saying she forgives him for what happened and him giving a little smile or nod before disappearing." Yeah, that would have been very good. That would have felt very Clone Wars-esque. The final time they saw each other was, he gives her that little nod and smile and then runs off.
Yeah,
it would have been like that.
I envision at the end of Ahsoka's like her being alive, that she goes there, because that's what he said. I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Mm-hmm.
Referencing her like dying, because that's really what it ended up being. Like
she was on the verge of dying, which is kind of like what you said with the room of requirement.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think maybe by the end we'll see like them walk off into the sunset per se. In the world between worlds or something like that. When she actually dies.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think she dies?
Not in the near future, but I think she might, just so we get that kind of closure. Maybe, she doesn't die, but and we see it somehow.
Sully said, good point.
Hey, thank you, Sully.
Sully thinks you're cooking. Hey, Sully, how's your fantasy team doing? Don't you wish you would have started Tyler Bass, man?
We're about to lose a viewer.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to crash the stream now. Oh, man, I'm sorry, Sully. I hate to do that to you. But, no, that actually really was a good point, that we will see, that hopefully we get to see some closure. Because
they may have already filmed it even.
Yeah, I mean, it could be at the very end of the show in a way. Like,
yeah, I was thinking that too. Like, maybe they see a victory and Ahsoka like lays back in she like dreams of it or something.
Yeah, so hold on. He said waiver wire ready.
He's in the morning, dude. We got the waiver wire about to go through.
Yeah, so I guess that really was like a dream in a way, which is also one of our theories, but it ended up being like true too. Yeah,
still very open ended. I mean, it could be Mortis, could be a dream.
He said J.K. Dobbins' Achilles is my fall to the dark side. Oh man. Yeah, that's a voice crack. That's a tough one, Sully. That's definitely a tough one. I had him on one of my other teams, but luckily I had his backup, so I'm not feeling that bad about it. But anyway, what were you saying?
I can't remember. I think they might sign Melvin Gordon. Have to go on for the.
No, for real?
Yeah. The Ravens. He's on the practice squad there, so.
Oh, I might need to go pick him up. Sully, you hear that?
It's like that was Sully's waiver wire claim. He's like, no.
Well, I mean, I scored.
I
scored more than him this week, because he didn't start his kicker. Oh, we have another viewer. What's up, man? How are you doing? Sorry, we were just talking about fantasy football. So if you have any questions, let us know. Anything else, on this episode?
Yeah, we got to see the Death Watch.
Yeah.
We got to see 332nd. I mean, I think all the flashbacks were just beautiful. I kind of wanted to see more, but I'm satisfied with what we got. Definitely. And I think we will at some point see more.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Sully was saying. I feel like we're going to have a happy ending, per se, with Ahsoka and Anakin at some point. Maybe not this show, maybe not this season. I'm not sure.
Hopefully we do get to have a happy ending because I feel like that's what she deserves. And really, just to see that final moment would really tug on the heartstrings.
Oh, dude, I would. The waterworks would pour out.
I would be crying because I almost cried this episode. So,
yeah, it's. I just keep thinking about that shot where young Ahsoka lays her hand on the trooper that's about to die.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Not that he was dying, but that scene was just awesome, dude. It got me in the feels.
And then Anakin in view, the whole point was she was holding, and then you can see Anakin in the background, and she's all upset about it, and then we got to see that cool moment, master apprentice, mentor, mentee, that was so sick. Sully said another line I liked was about each apprentice being all of what their master is. Yes, okay, so it showed his true appreciation for Obi-Wan. That's an actual bar right there, and we said that if y'all watched our Ahsoka countdown. That was a lot of what we talked about, how Ahsoka carries the legacy of Anakin, and so Anakin will always live on through Ahsoka as long as she's alive, and whoever Ahsoka trains, Anakin will live on through her or through that person as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sully, and that's probably one of the things that kind of lifted her up and made her become Ahsoka. Though I was I can carry on his legacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the legacy of like we said during our Ahsoka series, the legacy of their actual Anakin, the real Anakin, not the one that I won't say tricked, but fell to the dark side. Not that Anakin, but the one that we see all throughout Clone Wars, all throughout the prequels, up until the moment that he turns the happy-go-lucky, intense, but also very fun Anakin. And I'm glad to see that Ahsoka's willing to embrace that role.
Yeah.
So, I guess if you have any other thoughts, we might can wrap it up. But what you thinking? We need a John Samuel here, dude. He was always here to propel another random theory.
Yeah, we came up with a lot during that last.
Yeah, we did, dude. John was cooking. I'm not gonna lie. F's in chat for John Samuel right now if he's watching. What if he was one of the people who commented originally? Oh man. So. I guess we can close out. What was your favorite part of the episode?
It had to be my boy Rex, dude.
Yeah.
Even though he had one line and we didn't see his face, he's my favorite Star Wars character, man. It was great seeing him.
I think my favorite part of the episode was.
See you, Sully. Thanks for watching, man.
Bye, Sully. Thanks for watching. I think my favorite part was definitely the conversation between Ahsoka and Anakin on the battlefield. It just felt. It felt very Clone Wars-esque, and I will die on the hill. I'll live on the hill. I'll die on the hill that Clone Wars is the best Star Wars forever. Sully said Anakin going from red eyes back to normal. That was his favorite part.
That was cold.
That was cold. That was definitely really cold. Anybody else? You have any favorite part of the episode before we sign off?
Man, yeah, there's so many good parts. I'm definitely gonna have to rewatch all those scenes.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it, man. Well, if nobody else has any thoughts, thank you guys for tuning in. You got any last things?
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We're planning to stream the rest of Ahsoka and perhaps weekly from
here on out, really. Yes, if you like stream ideas, obviously we'll make it a little bit more uniform. This is just kind of a reaction.
We streamed as soon as we could, so.
Yeah, so if you like the stream format, if you like us, getting to see a little bit more of the behind the scenes version, we're definitely down for that. So, let us know what you guys think, and thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. But technically, it's not over until he presses the stop recording button. So, oh man.